I hate him already. He's
Hello,
loud.
and we're at Michigan International Speedway, and this is Split Second Broadcasting,
Hello.
and we're about to do 85
Is this
laps
going to be how
around
you
this
play,
oval
second place again?
for this VSCRA playoff race. And here today I have Alex in the pits with me. How you doing today, Alex?
We're doing all right. We're switching roles tonight, Kyle. Last week I was doing a lot of the talking. This week you're gonna lead. So here we go. Let's try it out.
Big fun, big fun. Pace car about to pull off pit road. We're gonna pace lap underway, and 85 laps of mayhem here at Michigan. We have 4 out of our 6 playoff drivers here tonight. Elliot Henderson, JD Laird, Aaron Hale, and Eric Kepf. How do you think this one's going to play out today, Alex?
Well, we're at a big track tonight, so drafting's gonna be a pretty big important factor here. JD Laird has taken the pole. So while he will have the clean air advantage, I don't think he's gonna pull away as much as you would at a mile and a half.
What do you think the pit strategy will be for today?
Well, we're looking at a fuel window of anywhere from 28 to 35 laps, depending on your lifting, depending on your strategy. So this could end up being a 2 or 3 stop race here if it goes green. So it's going to be interesting to see whether these guys value the track position or if they value trying to go for the strategy in the long run.
Michigan is always a track for strategy, and this many cars in the field, I can see this playing out to be green to the finish. But we'll have to see here on Split Second Broadcasting on Twitch. I'd like to remind everybody here in a couple weeks, there will be Great Lakes Racing, June 10th, and we will start broadcasting the Cup races, and the first race will actually be in the next gen car at Daytona. And hope to see y'all there here on Twitch, Split Second Broadcasting. Pace car pulls off. We're about to go green flag racing here today. On the pole is JD Laird on his outside. Looks to be the O2 of Liam Sheen, and here they go. The 23 is in the lead coming into the first turn. And Elliot Henderson challenging Liam on the inside. Everybody seems to be singling out right now, except for the battle for second right now. Elliot Henderson getting his first league win last week at Charlotte. And a very interesting finish to the race.
Yeah, we saw that was a good one last week. Elliott pulled a bit of an interesting strategy, pulled down the road with a short caution period and ended up having the better tires and longer run to get by him. We could possibly see something like that today if we get the guys racing a little too close. Wait and see on that one.
Like you were talking about earlier, Alex, the 2 or 3 pit stop strategy that could really come into play here today, especially if we do end up going green the whole way, but we will have the 1 caution on lap 20 for the end of the stage.
Yes, that'll throw things for a bit of a loop here because with that lap 20 caution, that's going to leave us with 65 laps to go, which would likely mean the guys were trying to stretch the fuel out to only make 1 more stop from that point. However, any cautions could throw that for a loop as we see past
Yo 2 going to the lead, and it looks like the 23 of JD Laird is just going to move over for Liam Sheen for now, trying to save them tires for later in the run. And Elliot Henderson right behind him looks to be threatening for the second position. And everyone else just singled out right behind him, the 47 and the 11, not too far back of this 3-way duo for the lead. And here comes Elliot Henderson jumping to the inside of the 23. Goes below the apron. He might clear him coming into turn 1. Here he goes. This 23 is going to let him have the spot going into turn 1. And this battling for position has brought the 47 and the 11 to them. Nathan Nicholson and Christopher Heller not too far behind. And then you got a battle back there between Aaron Hale and Eric Hepp, it looks like. Eric Hepp, one of our playoff drivers. Aaron Hale as well. Aaron Hale made a late race run last week at Charlotte, almost able to get past JD. Wasn't quite able to late in the race last week. Had a similar strategy to Elliott.
We saw he pulled a bit of an extremist strategy there, staying out some of the longest of our playoff contenders, getting the tires very late in the reflex pit stop cycle, and it ended up working out for him towards the end of the race. That's another thing, if you try and stretch the fuel run out all the way to the max and try and get the better tires in the long run, it could lead you to being completely safe on fuel, but having much better tires than the guys in front of you.
Tires, tires, tires. I always say that's the most important thing, is saving your tires. And the leaders are beginning to close in on each other. Elliot Henderson right on the bumper of Liam Sheen. I'm not sure if he's really trying to make that pass right now. I think he's just trying to save his tires to stay in that draft. Same thing with the 23 of JD Laird. And the 3 behind him right there too. The 13 is beginning to drive up on the 47 and the 11. Daniel Budafuko? How do you say that name? Twitch don't ban me for the pronunciation that I do. Budafuko. Daniel Budafuko is driving down the 47 and the 11 right now. And we're about to have possibly a 6-way battle for the lead right now. Into a little pack. Eric Hepp from the 33 of Aaron Hale, not too far back of these 6 guys. Here comes the 23 of JD. JD gonna make a move in Elliott. He's gonna try to get 2 birds with 1 stone coming underneath the O2 car in the middle of 3 and 4. But I don't know if he's gonna be able to complete that pass. He's gonna have a little bit of a run off 4, and here he comes underneath the apron. He's right at the quarter panel, but nope. Liam Sheen shuts the door. The 23 switches to the high side and switches back down low. And they single back out. The 11 car threatening the 47, it looks like, back there for 4th right now. A little bit of different line play in 1 and 2. Saw some guys go middle, some guys go low, and you're going to see that throughout the run.
Yeah, we're going to see quite a lot of that in this race. This draft, I'm telling you, it's big here in Michigan, and we saw JD Laird use that to his advantage, going down the back to try and pass with the lead there. Sadly, he didn't make it. That's what we're seeing here is draft tires. When you have that much of a draft clause, you can not only save tires, but save fuel, and then when you want to decide to go, you can go. Here comes the 13 of Daniel Budafuko going underneath the 11, coming up on the 47 as well. It looks like he might fall right back in behind the 11 as the 11 gets a great run off turn 2. He has a really fast car right now, that 13, but he doesn't want to use up the tires too early on this run. Still got 11 more laps until the caution. Here comes JD Laird looking up to the high side, looking to get some clean air. Dirty air definitely playing a factor right now with JD Laird and Elliot Henderson. Clean air is king at a track like this. I'd like to send it out for a crank it up for a minute while we have these guys all packed up together like this.
back here speaking. Elliot Henderson, as you saw right there, just took over the second place. A little bit of battling back there for the fourth position as we're coming towards the end of this stage. JD Laird right on the bumper of Elliot Henderson coming into turns 1 and 2. We got a battle for fourth. Christopher Hiller and Nathan Nicholson battling for that fourth spot right now. The 47 and the 11, the two Supras going at it. Eric kept from closing in on all these guys the last couple of laps. I'm gonna check the speeds as they come across the line. We're gonna see who's running the quickest lap right now. As the 13 looking to make a move on Nathan Nicholson, coming all the way down. Got that clean air coming down the front stretch. And the quickest around that time looked to be Elliot Henderson in the 37. Around a 10th quicker than everyone else on the track right now. Has that draft right now behind Liam Sheen, looking to close in near the end of this stage. Oh, and the 13 going way off the track. Almost a big accident right there for the 13 car, who's honestly been the biggest mover so far early in the race. Looks like we're going to get a replay here in a moment on the incident with the 13 car. And it looks like the 13 car just came up a little bit in the 47. The 47 came a little down and got a little loose after the first contact. And the 13 car went inside and luckily kept it together. We'll get a caution here in a couple of laps and maybe he can change the tires on that 13 Chevrolet Camaro. No sponsor on that car. I don't know what happened with iRacing, but that's a big trend right now with the sponsorless cars. Not sure why. Looks nice though. Should put a logo on it though. 37 right there in second place, just buying his time. Liam Sheen led I think he's led every lap, or almost every lap so far this race. With the pit stops coming up here on the stage, Alex, do you think we'll see any possible two-tire strategy?
Oh, absolutely not. Like we said before, fuel run is at minimum 28 laps, so you're already using up most of your fuel run on tires, and you're going to have to take. Michigan may be smooth, tires may not be as big, but that fire off right off the bat is going to be way more important.
Figured as much. 20 laps into the run, a lot of fall off on these tires. Maybe later in the race, if we get a short run, maybe we'll see some strategy when it comes to tires. Michigan, certain tracks, Darlington, tear up these tires, tear them up. It's so important to save tires, especially at Michigan, because you have the long green flag runs. Track like Darlington, you can get a lot of cautions in there. Michigan, it's almost guaranteed, even with the worst drivers and the biggest packs, that you can go green flag all the way.
Plus, it's important to note here, we do have a smaller field for this race, so you wouldn't really be losing that much track position. As you see, the 13 here is the right front damage contact earlier. That's going to be a big problem because these cars are very sensitive to aerodynamics, and with that bit of damage,
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to slow him down, Alex. I don't think if we were in the Cup cars, I think it would definitely end his day. We're coming on to pit road. He's still, I think he just made that pass on the 47. I think he can still get out there and compete for the win here today. And Liam Sheen almost spun it out right there. See if we can maybe dial up a replay on that one. That was insane, and JD Laird takes the lead in all that madness. JD Laird making the move on the inside, you see, and just kind of slides up the track and gets a little bit into the door of the O2. Amazing save by Liam Sheen, by the way, and he's still only in, where'd he fall to? Oh, I thought he was in third place.
From the server.
He's just left. I thought he just fell back to third, but it looks like he has left the race. And then there was 7. JD Laird has the lead. Coming towards the end of the stage break. one more lap until we get the end of the stage. JD Laird's in the lead while Elliot Henderson try to take it away. Try to look for that clean air when we go back green flag racing. Here he goes. Gets the inside. He has the clean air. Let's see how much of a run he can get off the turn. Driving down the backstretch. JD Laird in the lead. Elliot Henderson right on his bumper in the Klickerman Sport Chevrolet. His peaks high a little bit. I don't know if he's going to get him. I don't think he's going to get there. It looks like JD Laird is going to come out front when we get the caution flag here. Aaron Hale back there in fourth. Christopher Heller, you got a third. Close finish there. Looked like for fifth between the 13 and the 47. Eric Kepf right behind them.
All right, Kyle, it's pit time. Maybe we could see a change of position on pit road. It could happen. It's not likely, but it could happen.
It happens a lot, honestly, on the iRacing service in the official races, because some drivers are real ballsy about how they get into their spot, really pushing it to the limits, and some people take it real slow into their box. It's all about how you get into your box. Whoever gets
looking to not get our dreaded 14-second pit stop here. Though that would really hurt you.
Oh no, that would be no bueno. No bueno. Looks like we get another look at the incident between Liam Sheen and JD Laird. And it just looks like JD just comes up a little bit, maybe overdrove the entry a little bit, maybe slid up the track a little bit. I'm not quite sure exactly what happened, maybe even a little net code right there too. But disappointed to see Liam Sheen exit the race after that incident and dominating the whole beginning portion of this race. But we carry on, and we're about to get some pit stops here, and I send it to Alex, who's in pit road.
Yeah, we're going to be watching them come down pit road here in a second, and just before we do that, I would like to point out over the radio, just before Liam left, he was saying something about his right front. I believe he said that he blew it there. But we're watching here as they come down pit road. They're going to have a long way down the pit road here. All their pit boxes towards the front. So we're going to have a bit of a race down pit road. It's where a lot of guys can be introduced sometimes. Try and get that car right above that 45 mile an hour, 55 mile an hour mark, speed limit here, and just punch it right at the speed limit. So you see a lot of guys pretty clean in the box. Don't see any big... Oh, we see a lot of reverses there on pit road.
I saw JD go in reverse.
JD, you saw Aaron Hale as well. We saw quite a few cars have to slow down there. Seeing everybody getting the fix is going to be interesting. Elliot Henderson's on his way. He's going to pass him. He's going to pass him down pit road. Elliot Henderson has taken it. The 13 of Buttafuoco has taken third here over Christopher Heller. Buttafuoco has jumped a few spots. Interesting to see if he actually repaired his damage there. And going to be the last one off pit road is going to be
And we're about to have, looks like we're about to talk to our in-race reporter, Elliot Henderson, who just came out of the pit road first. Elliot, how is the car doing for you at the beginning of the race?
I mean, it feels pretty good right now. It's depends on how you try to save tire, I guess. That 20-lap run, I don't think showed exactly what we're going to be able to do, because I think we'll be able to go about 37, 38 laps on a tank here, so we'll see what it does this run, but being able to save tire at the beginning of the run is what makes up the difference. You saw JD immediately drop back behind me and Liam, and was able to drive back around us just because of that. So if you can keep the rear tire on it, keep the front tire on it, you'll be able to obviously have grip as opposed to the other guys who are overdriving a little bit. But right now I feel good. JD slid through his box a little bit, so that gave us the advantage to take his lead and get to lead a couple laps, and we'll see how the rest of this run goes now.
You had a great view of what just happened between JD and Liam. What did you see happen there?
It was just two guys going for one spot. It's a one groove track. You really can't try to go under that bottom seam there unless you're trying to exit turn 2. So in 3 and 4, you really can't run anywhere but where JD was, and he went in a little bit hard. He probably could have put 2 tires under the seam. Liam was going to pinch him down because, you know, you go out too wide and you're just going to miss the whole corner, and he's going to lose second to me and everything. So I think it was just 2 guys racing hard, knowing that the stage was coming up and they wanted to maintain that spot. But yeah, it was just a racing deal. I feel like, you know, both guys are just racing really hard for that lead position because the clean air means so much in these cars.
Well, I appreciate it, Elliot. I appreciate your insight, and go out there and race your race and try to get 2 in a row.
Thanks, guys. We'll see what happens.
Of course. And we're just half a lap away from going green. And right before we brought Elliot into the booth, I was going to say that Daniel's kind of the man to watch right now. I feel like he's just been kind of on the move. He almost wrecked on the backstretch, and now he's restarting in 3rd place. I would definitely keep an eye on him on this restart. And then Elliot Henderson, who just kind of had the lead fall into his lap right here after JD overshot his pit box. And the pace car about to pull off onto pit road. And we're about to go green flag racing here at Michigan once again. And there goes Elliot Henderson. He gets a great restart. He just pulls off on JD Laird, almost a full 2 car lengths already, heading into turn 1. The 13 right below the 11 right now. Daniel and Christopher battling for that 3rd spot, going head to head. It looks like the 11 is going to prevail for now, and everyone's in a single file line now. It looks like the 47 might have gotten off to a not too good of a restart, way far back on these guys. Elliot Henderson holding on to the lead. JD Laird just hanging out right there in the draft. And here we go, completing the 1st lap of this green flag run. It's Elliot Henderson in 1st. JD Laird is in 2nd. These 2 seem to be the class of the field today. With Liam Sheen now out. Christopher Heller right behind them in the 11 car. And Dango Budafuco right there in 4th. Eric Kemp and Aaron Hale just been together kind of all race. Been hanging out back there almost all race. So now I'm still not quite sure what happened to Nathan Nicholson, but he is just way back on these guys, around a half second back of Aaron Hale right now. Maybe it was just inside their draft, maybe just outside their draft.
Well, remember, he had made contact with 13 there earlier in the run, and he was the last one on the road. It's very possible that he sat and fixed the damage.
Very good point, Alex. That's a very possible. Maybe that damage is affecting him more than it's affecting the 13 possibly as well. As the 11 and the 13 have closed down on the 37 and the 23. 4 cars going at it right here. Dangling right on the 11's bumper right now. I'm not sure what's going through these guys' minds right now. Is it position? Is it tires? Is it fuel? Alex, what do you think is going to happen with the pit strategy here? Do you think they're just going to make the 1 stop and go? Or do you think people are going to try to do the 2 stop?
Well, our insight from our in-race reporter Elliot tells us that he believes they can go about 35 to 38 laps on fuel tank, which would easily allow them to do a 1 stop without even needing to see anything. So we're looking to be a 1 stop here. I don't think a 2 stop would be practical.
Thank you, Alex. As we have a change for the lead, it looks like JD Laird's going to come on the inside, Elliot Henderson down the front stretch. JD Laird might be able to clear him heading into turn 1 here, and he does. Elliot Henderson lines right back up with JD. Elliot Henderson can get a little bit of a run off the corner, but he's going to stick in right behind him. Christopher Heller right there just watching these guys, and Daniel Budafuco just as well. Looks like Aaron Hale fell a little bit back, kept back there, but other than that, no changes really on the track. These 4 just riding around the track, waiting for pit stops, and then we might see some real racing after the pit stops, or maybe even right before. Elliot Henderson applying that pressure on JD Laird, coming into turn 1 and 2, right on his bumper. Now they come off of 2. All lined up. Just look at the speeds at the line, see what these guys are doing, see what the guys in the back are doing, seeing if they're maybe sinking their tires a little more. JD Laird coming to the line here, coming past the Geico restart zone. And he runs himself a 39.876. Everyone running around the same times up front right there. Eric Kep running a 39.963, so not really any difference, but Nathan Nicholson is running a lot slower than these guys. Ran a 40.3 last time, so 4/10 off the pace is Nathan Nicholson. Mostly, I feel like, is because of the draft and maybe even some damage from the incident with Daniel Bufuko on the backstretch a few laps ago.
Checking on his car about now, compared to the beginning of the run, he definitely has significantly more damage. Looks like he got into the wall, so I think we're going to be seeing him out at tonight's race. It's a likely mistake.
Maybe if we can get a caution, the 47 can get himself back into this race and repair that damage, because these Xfinity cars can handle definitely a couple of hits on the wall, but they're not going to handle everything, but they handle a lot more than those Cup cars. If he was in a Cup car, I would just retire right now, to be honest, because those Cup cars cannot handle anything. But back to the race.
Gotta believe. Who knows?
JD still holding the lead right now from Elliott Henderson. Christopher Heller right behind them.
And Elliott Henderson, he is outside of the back of JD Laird here, trying to get some clean air on the nose. That's definitely going to help him out with keeping the front tires on the car. Like he mentioned, the tires are going to be a big deal here, and especially if they're going to near full fuel run, we're going to have to see if Elliott can get back by him here.
Oh, got the wall a little bit off turn 4, a little bit right there. I just think he lost where he exactly was right there. I don't think he was driving it too hard. I think he just lost where he was right there and got it a little in the wall, and he's regathered it. But the 11 car of Christopher Heller is trying to pounce on that mistake from Elliott Henderson and jump to his high side.
Yeah, you're not going to save tire doing that, that's for sure.
And here comes Daniel Buttafuoco. Now we got a 3-way battle for second. JD Laird trying to check out on these guys. Here comes Daniel. He's going to jump into third. A great move going into 3 and 4, by the way, by Daniel. And he jumps right in front of Christopher Heller, but Christopher Heller pulls a crossover. Jumps to the inside in that Supra. Trying to get a little side draft coming down the front stretch. And here he comes into turns 1 and 2, the 11 Toyota of Christopher Heller. And get a little close right there. Christopher Heller jumps off the inside line a little bit. Has around a car length between him and the bottom. But Daniel finally completes the pass on the 11. And now he sets his eyes on the 37 of Elliott Henderson. The 13 staring to that inside, but he's not going to make the move this time. It looked like he was thinking about it on the backstretch, but didn't make the jump. Elliott Henderson in second place, Daniel right on his bumper. Eric Kep around a second back from these guys, and Aaron Nail around a second back from him. And Nathan Nicholson is pulled on to pit road. Not sure if this is to maybe do a 2-stop sort of strategy and repair those damages at the same time. Maybe he's exiting the race. I am not sure, but he is currently on pit road. As JD Laird has put some more distance between these guys, and the 13 car has made the pass on Elliott Henderson, as I was talking about that. And Christopher Heller has moved into the third spot as well. And here he comes in front. Oh, not able to quite get in front of Elliott Henderson. Not able to quite clear him off turn 4. And they battle down the front stretch. Daniel puts a little bit of distance between these guys. Around a car length and a half now between him and the 11 and the 37. Christopher Heller drives it hard into 1 and 2, and he's going to get right up in front of Elliott Henderson. Elliott's going to get a little bit of a run. I don't think it's not enough to do the crossover move, it looks like. Daniel putting a little distance between them. And we're going to check the speeds at the line between him and JD. As Daniel looks like to me that he's chasing down JD just a little bit. Nathan Nicholson has left the race, by the way. Just wanted to point that out. Here they come across the line. JD Laird at a 40.8 and Daniel at a 40.9, and everyone else 41 and above. JD Laird still the quickest on the track, but not by much.
He's got a big enough gap here that we're likely not going to see as big of an effect of the draft. It is possible that this air that he has in front of the field is actually going to allow him to finally pull a gap because of all that battling.
For sure, as long as he can keep that gap. Because right now, Daniel is just outside that draft. If JD Laird makes one little mistake, one little slip up, Daniel's going to close in right on his bumper. We're going to have ourselves a race coming towards the pit stops here in maybe 15 laps. I'm thinking maybe 20 laps. When do you think they're going to come in, Alex? What lap do you think they might come in?
Well, to definitely make it to the finish here, they're going to be looking at least around anywhere from lap 45 to 50, they're looking. So we're still going to see at least 15 laps of green flag racing here. So I wouldn't count out any of these guys away from JD Laird.
Now it looks like everything is about staying the same. Everybody's keeping their distance right now. Elliot's kind of falling back from these guys a little bit. Eric Kempf is catching up to him. Everyone's running very similar lap times from what I'm checking on the scoreboard. Christopher Ellerland ran the quickest lap that time by around a 10th. But everyone's fairly close when it comes to speed right now. I would like to send it out for a very quick crank it up as JD Laird is leading the field. All right, I am back. Had to turn up the speakers and sit back in my chair for a second and just listen to the engines. And as we're listening to the engines, Daniel Buttafuoco is driving down JD Laird as we speak. He's caught up 3/10 the last few laps. He was a little over half a second behind a couple laps ago. Now he's only 3/10 behind, around 2 car lengths back, and still closing in 3 and 4. He is really closing in on this 23 car of JD Laird. He's gotten a handle on that draft, and I think he saved his tires maybe a little more than JD, even though he was back there battling. It seems that way, unless JD has cut it off a little bit near the end of the run and trying to save it, and trying to save his tires for those last few laps of the run before they come into the pits.
Seems to be that he really did keep those tires on the car. He's really pulling up JD right now. JD just can't seem to pull out the gap that he had earlier, and now he's got Daniel right on his bumper.
Quite surprising for me, just because, well, I definitely expected the 13 to make a run, but the battling he was doing earlier and JD just checking out on those guys, I thought this was JD's show, at least until the pit stops. But The 13 has driven him down, and he's waiting for his moment to pounce, it looks like, because he is right on his bumper, just waiting for a move, looking to get a big run on one of these straightaways and make a move to most likely the inside of the 23 car. Everyone else has around a half a second gap in between other drivers. Everyone's pretty separated. This is the closest battle on the track right now, and it's for the race lead. Daniel's right there. He's right there. Here he comes to the inside to get some clean air from the 23. Maybe that will help him here on the front stretch a little bit. And he jumps up to the high side to get that run into the turn. He turns in. His nose is just a little bit out from the 23. Just to get that little bit of clean air. Any clean air helps. You still want to get that draft on the back stretch though. Hook you up real quick. And he is coming. He is coming. JD doesn't make too many mistakes though, so he's gonna have to make a great move if he wants to get past him, or hope that he cuts him a break since we're still so early in the race. But Dangle once again jumps down low to get that clean air and jumps right in back behind him. Everyone's running very similar lap times right now. These guys are around a 10th quicker than everybody else. Alex, what do you think? What do you think is going on here?
Well, what's going on here is we're seeing the 2-miler of Michigan coming into play right now. He's getting that big draft. He's saving up those tires. He's taking a little bit of a wider arc from the corner. And notably, he's been running towards the bottom of the front straightaway while JD's been staying up high.
Very, very good insight, as usual, from Alex.
Thanks.
The 13 has fallen back a little bit on this last lap from the 23. The pit stops are coming up very soon as we approach lap 50 or soon. We're on lap number 48 right now. So that puts us at around 35 laps to go. I think it's 38 to be exact right now. So we're entering that window that Elliot was talking about earlier, 35 to 38 laps. So this is when he was saying, there's a battle for fifth. It seems like Eric Kepf and Aaron Hale battling. Aaron Hale has driven down Eric Kepf from around a second back a few laps ago. It seems like those tires are coming in for him now, as he seemed to have saved his tires. And here he comes. These guys are around a little over a second back of Elliot Henderson right now. Aaron Hale gonna maybe try to drive down Elliot Henderson right before we get to these pit stops. Question is, who will be on pit road first? Because once one comes, they're all gonna come. Because the first guy's gonna have those fresh tires, and he's gonna be running around maybe a second and a half quicker laps than these guys are running right now. So let's see, they're running 41 ones, and their most of these guys' quickest laps are 39 and a half seconds. So around a second and a half quicker lap time. So whenever that first guy comes into the pits, they're all gonna come. So I would suggest Eric Kepf has hit pit road. We have our first biter on pit road right now. Alex, do you expect everybody else to come back in this time?
Lap 50, we're at the marker to hit the minimum time to push the most of the fuel tank.
Oh, and Dangle's in the wall. Sorry to interrupt you, but Dangle Budafuco got into the wall off of turn 4 right there. Almost spun it out, even got a little loose trying to pull it off the wall, and he's lost a lot of time on JD these last few laps. I think he just drove the tires off, driving them back down right before these pit stops. And now Christopher Heller is breathing down his neck for that third spot. Eric Kepf has pulled back onto the racetrack. Still, no one else has made that jump onto pit road, which is very surprising, because Eric Kepf is going to drive some very fast laps here. And Christopher Heller and the 13 are going at it. It looks like the 13 is going to prevail off of 4 for now, going to have that run. But Christopher Heller is going to stick to the nope. He's going to jump in back behind him. These guys are going to run single file down the front stretch. JD Laird has definitely put a gap on these guys, around a second up on Daniel Budafuco and Christopher Heller right now. waiting on to see who's going to be next onto pit road.
Kyle, I have reason to bet that Luke Wilson's probably going to be the next one, because he's got significant right damage that's slowing him down a ton.
Oh, there they go! He saves it, but he's in the wall. Oh my gosh, and right in front of Aaron Hale. Oh my gosh, that was close.
Well, he's the next one on pit road.
Nope, he's not going to come. It's Elliot Henderson's going to come on pit road. I don't know why. I don't know why he did not. He should have definitely came to pit road that time by, but he did not. As the replay comes in, let's see what happens here. It looks like I don't think that's the right replay. But Elliot Henderson is pulled into his pit box. He's going to change his tires on the car, and we're going to see where he comes out against Eric Kep. It looks like the 11 might have came up a little bit. Not a lot of space given by the 13 as well. Very hard racing position right there.
He almost killed the 33 of Aaron Hale coming down to the bottom of the racetrack after he hit the wall.
Yeah, that's what I would like to call no good wreck etiquette right there. Once you wreck, stay up in the wall. Don't come in front of people. But it looks like everybody made it out okay. Aaron Hale definitely lost some time trying to get around him there.
Daniel Buttafuoco is now on pit road finally.
Dangles finally made that jump to pit road. A lot of damage on that car. A lot of damage. His day is most likely over unless we get a caution. I would also like to point out that Eric Kep did pass Elliot Henderson by coming in earlier. So it would be interesting to see where he is compared to JD Laird, who has just came on to pit road. Elliot Henderson is around a second back of Eric Kep right now, so this would be very interesting to see where JD Laird comes out at. Christopher Heller as well, as he's on pit road as well.
Well, an unlikely trend with iRacing that's different from real life is that, unlike in real life where the goal is short pit, on iRacing, the trend seems to be don't short pit the guy you're racing. It seems to be a bigger advantage to have the tires in the longer run over the guy, especially to have the draft. Because you see Elliot Henderson coming up on there, he'll probably drive away from him. And that's JD Laird and Christopher Heller come on the pit road. They're gonna get passed by these two here, but it's gonna be interesting to see if the next 15 laps are gonna be able to get by. And also interesting is Aaron Hill is once again pulling the long strat, staying out as long as possible before he pits. See if he could get another unlikely position, possibly for victory from where he was.
And a three-way battle there as JD Laird was coming off pit road, 3 wide for a second there. Elliot Henderson has made the pass on Eric Kep, but he's going to pull away. His tires are a little newer. But then you've got the 23 of JD Laird, who was just leading this race, who just came off pit road, and he's going to have a draft on the 37. He jumps down low. And here he comes into turn 1, looking to clear him coming into turn 1. And he will. Oh, that was close. That was almost an accident. Elliot Henderson backed off, but if he did not back off, that was going to be an accident between those two contenders. That was awfully close. Eric Kep is going to have a run now because of that almost incident. He's going to have the inside on Elliot Henderson, for which is now the 3rd position, but after Aaron Hale comes into the pits, it will be for 2nd. Elliot Henderson just riding for now. Eric Kep as well. Christopher Heller way back there. And then Aaron Hale finally pulls onto pit road in the 33 Mobil 1 Ford. And Daniel Buttafuoco way back, way back. Definitely feel bad for Buttafuoco, who had a lot of speed. More than just a very aggressive last name. Definitely has a lot of speed out there on the racetrack, but disappointed to see him damaged. Hopefully he can get a caution and get himself back into this race. As we see the 23 of JD Laird still out there in the lead. Elliot Henderson around half a second back of him, and then around a half second back of him is Eric Kep. And then you have Christopher Heller back and forth. And now it's going to be really interesting to see where Aaron Hale comes out after all of this, as he just now pulled off a pit road. He's going to be around, once he gets onto the track, he's going to be around a half a lap, maybe a little less than a half a lap behind our race leader of JD Laird. But his tires are around around 4 laps newer. than our race leader, so we can definitely see him make some sort of a comeback, but a half a lap comeback would be huge, huge. What do you think of Aaron Hale's strategy, Alex?
Well, he took the idea of not short pitting to the extreme and decided to wait as long as possible. Last week it paid out for him because he was in 5th, 6th place at Charlotte, drove his way almost up to 2nd at the end of the race, so it's going to be interesting to see if at this bigger racetrack he can do that here.
To be exact, he's around 9 seconds back of our leader right now. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that gap and seeing if he closes it in at all. As we still have our top 4 that are all within 2 seconds of each other right now. JD Laird has the newest tires and has the race lead, so you would think he is sitting in the catbird seat here late in the race. Everyone else, I think, are just buying their time and saving their tires, especially someone like Elliot Henderson. I know he is saving his tires right now, waiting for the end of this run, seeing what he can get out of those tires. And you have Eric Kep back in 3rd, who really did a good strategy move, has him in the 3rd spot right now, and these tires are going to begin to even out a little bit. And looks like that strategy's beginning to pay off for him right now. What were you about to say, Alex?
Well, I would like to say that JD Laird definitely has the best tires of anybody in the top 4 here, and even though the tires do start to get out a little bit, I'd say there still is a slight advantage. I think he will slowly pull away from Elliott here as long as they run the same kind of pushing as they do. Also, battle for 3rd.
We have a battle for 3rd as Christopher Heller has been putting that pressure on Eric Kep the last few laps as he's been driving him down. He's going to clear him easily heading in 3 and 4 and come right up against the wall right in front of him. And those 4 are going to settle it out like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. JD Laird in 1st. Elliot Henderson in 2nd. Christopher Heller in 3rd. Eric Kep in 4th. Closest battle right now is that battle for 3rd between Kep and Heller. Aaron Hale has driven down to 8.2 seconds. So he's already driven down that gap by 0.8 seconds. Definitely need to keep an eye on that 33 car as this race goes on. The 11 putting a little bit of a gap between him and the 63 right now. Seeing if he can maybe drive down Elliot Henderson. Christopher Heller came in on the same lap as JD Laird, so his tires are a little bit newer than Henderson. So we'll see if we can maybe have a battle for 2nd here in the coming laps, as Christopher Heller is around a 2.5 seconds back of the 37. Our most recent winner, Elliot Henderson. JD Laird's out having a Sunday drive right now. Probably has a cigarette in one hand and a beer in the other. He is just relaxing up there.
This is our flip-flop from last week, where Elliott was the one with the better tires and drove away from JD. Now we've got JD driving away from Elliott. Elliott, who actually achieved his first win of the season last week in this series, but JD had not gotten a win, got that taken away from him. So now JD's looking to push back at him.
And he's looking to take it back. Thanks for pointing that out, Alex, because I didn't even notice that. But yeah, 100%. This is 100% the opposite of last week. Last week, you had Elliot Henderson charging on those fresher tires. JD had the day almost dominated. And later in the race, Elliot Henderson came on and passed him and never looked back. And JD seems to be doing the same today as Elliot did last week at Charlotte. JD comes across the line. We're going to check the lap times this time around. JD with a 40.4. And Elliot Henderson around 0.4 off of him. And then Christopher Heller running a 10th quicker than our leader. So Christopher Heller is currently the quickest on the racetrack with a 40.3. It's around a half a second quicker than Elliot Henderson that last lap. And he is a little less than a second behind him now. Aaron Hale now only a little under 8 seconds, almost 7.5 seconds back up of our race leader. So he's still cutting into that gap back there in 5th. And Eric Kep continuously seems to fall back after being the first one to come into the pits. You were pointing out, Alex, in real life, short pitting is the way to go. But in iRacing, the longer you stay out, the more it's going to pay off. It seems like that's the way it's working out because Eric Kepf is falling back. He's going to fall into the clutches of Aaron Hale within the next, I'm thinking, 2 to 3, maybe even 4 laps. JD Laird up by 3 seconds as Elliott Henderson and Christopher Heller get a little closer. Heller is really right there at this point, only a car length back of Elliott Henderson coming into 3 and 4. Question is, how giving will Elliott be? Will Elliott give him some space to the inside, or he's going to battle him till he earns that spot? That 11 car is right there. He has a lot of speed, but now he has the 37's dirty air. And definitely slowed him down a little bit that lap because he ran a tenth slower than JD that last time by Christopher Heller in the 11. As he looks to the inside of the 37 of Elliott Henderson. He's not going to be able to get it that time by. Aaron Hale is now only 7 seconds back as he closes in on Eric Kepf. He's only a half second back of the 63 right now. Those are our 2 closest battles on the racetrack. Battle for second, battle for fourth. JD Laird has extended his lead by another half second over the last few laps. He's 3.5 seconds up on Elliott Henderson and Christopher Heller as Heller looks again to the inside of Elliott Henderson. And he looks like he's going to clear him this time as he really rips it into 1 and 2. And Elliott Henderson going to get a little bit of a run, but I don't think he's going to be able to pull that crossover this time by. Christopher Heller is going to have to drive the wheels off this car if he wants to drive down JD Laird. And Aaron Hale and Eric Kepf seem to be battling back there. Aaron Hale has made the pass on the 63 coming off in turn 2. And he is only 6.5 seconds back. He is really driving the wheels off that car, that 33 car. Like, you see that thing on the side, Alex? What is that, like a Griffin or something? That's him right now. He's just flying. He is flying.
That would be a Pegasus.
Is that a Pegasus? I'm not
Pegasus.
good with this stuff. I'm not good with this stuff.
That is the Mobile One Pegasus.
I never knew it was a Pegasus.
Oh no.
Well, I done messed up.
Kyle
Aaron
Short moment.
Well, either way, he's flying. You got the reference. He's flying. He's coming. He's flying in that 33 car. JD Laird is just hanging out there around 4 seconds up. And Christopher Heller. Elliott Henderson just waiting back there, hoping. I think at this point he's just hoping this race ends before Aaron Hale gets to his bumper. Because he has fallen at this point with those older tires. Not much older, but it seems to definitely be playing a part right now because he is dropping quick. Around 4.5 seconds back of JD Laird right now, that 37 car. Going to check the speeds at the line. We're definitely going to be keeping an eye on the 23, the 11, and the 33, seeing what their times are at. Here comes the 23 across the line. And the 23 with the 40.9. And the 11 not too far behind with the 41 flat. And then the 33 running around a similar race time of JD. It seems like those tires have kind of evened out. JD and Aaron Hale running around a half a tenth quicker that last time by. But that's definitely not going to be enough to catch them with around 15 laps to go here at Michigan.
Let's watch JD. Let's watch as he just enjoys himself for a second.
Laps left. I really think that JD's biggest enemy right now is himself. As long as he just keeps his car clean and there's no cautions, I think he has this in the bag. He's 4 seconds up on Christopher Heller, gapping him around 2/10 the last couple of laps. Aaron Hale isn't chopping at the lead no more. Elliot Henderson's tires are older than his. It's just JD Laird's race to win. If there's a caution that comes out, or if he makes some crazy mistake, this could really, really just become anybody's ball game at this point. We're looking at the 37 coming across the line. The 13 of Daniel Budafuka way back. Just way back. Definitely disappointing to see him so far back with that damage. Had a lot of speed, and I really think he was JD Laird's biggest contender in this race from what I saw early. He just had a lot of speed. He was in the back and drove all the way up to the front and was threatening for the lead. I think he just drove the car a little too hard and drove the wheels off of it. Got into the wall and just created more damage than he already had. He's been just hating life ever since, just trying to make it to the end of this race, looking at a 6th place finish unless we get a late race caution.
Wouldn't take it totally out of the equation here, but it seems very, very unlikely. The battle will really be set sail for JD Laird, JD
Because these tires have definitely evened out, especially for Aaron Hale. Ever since he came back on the track, he's been just whipping that car as hard as he can, driving and driving and driving. These tires are just they're not gone, but they kind of caught up to everybody else at this point, as he only runs a 10th quicker than Elliot Henderson the last time by, and they pitted 5 laps separate from each other. So definitely Aaron Hale's tires have fallen off. He might have enough time to drive him down, as he has 10 laps to go in a 1.5-second gap. He needs to catch up more than a 10th a lap, though, to make that gap up. Elliot Henderson chilling in 3rd. Christopher Heller is still there in 2nd place. JD Laird has kind of kept his lead around that 4-second mark. He's 4.2 seconds right now up on the 11 car of Christopher Heller, as they're all running very similar lap times once again. Aaron Hale kind of slows down that lap. He's only a couple hundredths quicker than 3rd place Elliot Henderson, and a little slower than 2nd place Christopher Heller. Eric Kep is around a 10th and a half slower than everybody right now from coming in on lap 50. Everybody else came in on lap 53 or later. Aaron Hale on lap 58. Daniel's just coming across the line right now. Possibility that Daniel could play into JD. Possibly push JD off his line, maybe mess with his air a little bit, get him loose by accident. Anything could happen with a lap car. Very doubtful, but keep an open mind. Around a half back stretch back of the 13 right now. The 11 and the 37 keep around their same gap. Aaron Hale catching up a little bit on Elliot Henderson, but he's only 1.3 back right now. He's just going to have to catch him a lot quicker than that if he wants to have a shot at the podium in that 3rd spot in that 33 car.
Well, he got him a couple tenths that last time by, so he's picking up the pace a little bit. He could possibly catch him here if Elliot makes a couple mistakes.
Most definitely, and Elliot's made some mistakes today. Not been a perfect day from the 37 car today, so definitely possible. And Aaron Hale still has a little bit fresher tires than Elliot's, because he's still chopping at that gap around a 10th and a half a lap. He's around a 2nd back right now. Maybe if you can get a handle on that draft in the next couple of laps, you can see him drive down, as we're coming to 6 to go for our race leader, JD Laird, as he comes off turn 4, passing through the Geico restart zone. 6 to go for the 23 Chevrolet Camaro. That's a pretty car, by the way. I love that car. It's a very pretty paint scheme. I like the red and blue numbers on the roof. Very cool.
Well, the thing they do in real life, they like doing that a lot. I know Chip Ganassi and Richard Fitting are a big fan of making that top number as bright as humanly possible, even if it matches not at all.
Back when I used to when I started painting, I paint cars here and there. When I started painting, I used to do like pink numbers or like bright yellow numbers on the roof of the car in NR 2003, just to give it like that spotter effect, you know. A lot of people get very creative with their cars. As we come to 5 to go, JD Laird's coming through 1 and 2. And you see that 13 not too far out in front of him. Possibly could play in on this finish, make an impact on this finish. Very doubtful, but anything is possible. The 11 car around 5 seconds back on JD. JD's made a bigger gap on the 11. Round pulled away by almost a second the last 10 laps. Elliot Henderson in third. And Aaron Hale is really catching him at this point, around almost a half a second back on Elliot Henderson, maybe getting a little whiff of that draft as we see the speeds coming across the line. JD with the 41.1, and Aaron Hale running around the same time, and he's around almost a tenth and a half quicker than Elliot Henderson once again. JD Laird pulling up on the 13. The 13 looks like he's just going to move out of his way. Very respectable. Aaron Hale is really driving up on the 37. That's our best potential at a battle here in the closing laps. JD Laird coming to 3 laps to go here at Michigan. Here in our first race of the round of 6. Next week, I'd like to point out that we go to Worldwide Technology Raceway, if I'm not mistaken. That'll be the second race of our round of 6 here in the VSCRA playoffs.
Note here, Christopher Heller slowed up a lot. Elliot Henderson's caught back up to him. He's only a few tenths back here.
We can maybe get some craziness for this battle for second. We could possibly have a 3-way battle for second coming to 2 to go. Christopher Heller around 2 car lengths in front of Elliot Henderson right now, and Elliot Henderson, I'd say, is around 5, maybe 6 car lengths in front of Aaron Hale, who is closing fast as he's gotten into the draft of the 37. Both Elliot Henderson and Aaron Hale ran 2 tenths quicker of a lap than Christopher Heller that last time by. Aaron Heller a little quicker than Elliot. So they're all closing in right now. With 2 to go, 1.5 laps to go here at Michigan. JD Laird's coming into 3 and 4, about to take the white flag in that 23 machine as these 3 are battling it out for second. Elliot Henderson right there on the 11. Christopher Heller just trying to make it to the finish. Might have been driving a little too hard trying to get to JD and just had the tires completely fall off. As Elliot Henderson is right there. Aaron Hale ran around 2 tenths quicker than both of them that last lap. Christopher Heller picked it up a little bit. Eric kept way back, not even close to this battle. Nothing to worry about there. And nothing to worry about up front either because JD is still way out in front. No problems up there. This is the last lap. Christopher Heller looks like he might hold on to that second spot. Aaron Hale might have came a couple laps too late because he's finally gotten to Elliot Henderson. But it's going to be too late for him as well. A very close race here for second. Maybe if we had 5 more laps, we could have had a battle for second. Aaron Hale going to edge him for third. Whoa, I didn't see that coming. I did not see that coming. That was a huge run. Huge run.
Good run there.
Did you see that run coming, Alex? I did not see that coming.
I'm gonna have to check that one again. We're gonna have to get a replay on that. What just happened there at the finish?
It looked like he just hit the NOS jet and just went flying past him. I'm baffled. I don't use that word. I'm baffled. That was just an insane run he got off the corner.
You see the crucial move of the race is coming off pit road to either passes Elliot Henderson for the lead, and from that point he checked out.
Yeah, never looked back at that point. He just had a lot of speed in those fresh tires and the clean air. It was his race from that point on. If we got a caution, I feel like we could have definitely had a different race. Because Elliott had some speed, Heller had some speed, Aaron Hale definitely had some speed on the longer runs. Even before the pit stop strategy, he had some speed on the longer run we had earlier. But that was a great race, very clean. As you see, JD Laird pulling up, doing some donuts. Big victory for him. Hoping we can get some interviews here in a couple of minutes. I'm watching Daniel Budafuka go backwards on the racetrack right now using that reverse. And that's just awesome. I still can't believe that run from the 33 car. That was just insane. Insane. And here we have our third place finisher, Elliot Henderson. Great race today. Third place finish. I bet it was two spots short for you, though.
I hate to break it to you, but Aaron Hale got him at the line. You grabbed the wrong man.
That confused me for a second there. Well, fourth place finish, Elliot Henderson. What was going through your mind when you saw Aaron Hale fly past you on the inside? Because we in the booth did not see that coming. We did not see that coming.
I knew he was going to get there. I think I just charged the corner a little bit too hard. I'm watching it back and laughing at myself. But yeah, I thought for a second I'd be able to get to Chris. And then I shortly realized that wasn't going to happen. And I charged the corner. And then I kind of just floated into the throttle a little bit too early. And it just did not bite on exit. And I had to lift out of it a little bit to not hit the wall. And yeah, he timed it right. He had the fresher tires, and he made up 8-9 seconds on us to get up there. So kudos to him, man. It's been a lot of fun these last few races with the different strategies. But yeah, it sucks to just give that one up. But we got 2 more here before we go into the finale, and the finale evens everything out. So as long as we finish up in the top 3 and we get this stuff done, we'll be good to go to get on the homestead and race it clean.
Yeah, I just loved watching that strategy play out tonight. Having guys come in a little earlier than some other guys. And Aaron Hale really prevailed by coming in last and flying. Maybe if he had a few more laps, he could have got past the 11. But Elliot Henderson, what happened with you coming off the turn? I think it was maybe 20, 25 laps to go coming off turn 4. You got a little bit into the wall and it made that big battle for second there. What happened there? Did you kind of just slip up or just lost where you were going?
I think I was close to it. I don't know that I hit it off 4. I think I caught it off 2 at one point. But yeah, I caught it early in the race and I had 13 seconds of damage. And that's what took me from being right with JD to dropping back and forth and not really having any other angle around anyone. The damage here was bad. It was 13 seconds for the light contact that I had. So frustrating, but yeah, just didn't really, it didn't have the speed after we did that. So I was just kind of hoping that other guys would make mistakes, and no one really did. And then when JD came off pit road, I knew battling him was going to be my best bet, but I didn't expect him to slow up through the corner as much as he did. I don't know if I hit him or not through there, but I feel like I probably should have just held the outside and prayed that maybe I could have held him off for another lap. But I used up my stuff so much there that I just fell off throughout the whole rest of the run, and you can see what tires means. They mean so much here. So it is what it is, and you know, we learned something else about tires yet again. We were on the better end of it at Charlotte, but it did not work out here today.
That's what Alex was pointing out. It was kind of an opposite of last week, but either way, it was a fantastic race from you, Elliot. Great race all around, very clean race from everyone, really. Very good to watch, and it was nice talking to you. Great 4th place finish. Excited to see you next week at Worldwide Technology.
It's a long name. I like to still refer to it as Gateway, but Worldwide Technology Racing, Gateway Motorplex, or whatever it's called at this point. But yeah, it should be a fun one. A bit of a short track action, and it'll be just as difficult to pass there as it was here. And I'm sure the outside line will prevail pretty well there too. So hopefully we can get a decent car count going, get a little bit more than 8-9 guys we've had the last few weeks, and put on a good show. But I appreciate you guys doing the broadcast. I can't wait to watch it back. I think you guys do a phenomenal job, and for everything that you guys do to make this show go on. And as we come to the latter stages of the playoffs, I look forward to being able to rewatch all these stories back later on.
Well, we all appreciate it, and you putting this on, we appreciate all the support. As we're about And we're going to bring in our 3rd place finisher, our actual 3rd place finisher this time. Aaron Hale, once again, just coming on late, as you did last week at Charlotte. Once again today, but I bet you're wishing you had a few more laps, and you could have definitely gotten past that 11 car of Christopher Heller for second, maybe even challenged for JD if we got even maybe more laps.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think JD might have been too far out there, but I certainly could have maybe challenged for second. I didn't. You feel like a superhero, on those new tires. I knew I didn't have anything for them. I either had to pit really early or late, so I decided to pit late, and then I was really chopping down the deficit in the first 15, 20 laps. Then we kind of evened out a little bit, and I didn't know if I was going to have a chance to get back to Elliott and Christopher, but I did, and then he must have just drove it in there really deep on the last lap, and I was surprised when I got underneath him and drag raced him to the line.
Yeah, me here in the booth, I was writing you off going into 3 and 4. It's like, if you had a few more laps, you could get past Elliott and these guys. I basically had you written off. And coming out of the turn, you stunned the crap out of me. I don't know how you had a huge run. Elliott overdrove the turn, though, for sure, a little bit. I've looked back at the replay a couple of times. But that was fantastic. Great to watch. I wish we had a few more laps so you could get a turn down for second. And is that kind of your usual strategy go? Try to stay out as long as you can and hope the tires come in late?
Yeah, that usually works quite well, especially as the race gets down toward the end and people are using their stuff up more. If I can just kind of be consistent, that's the difficult thing as you're trying to push and make up 8 to 9 seconds, and you have to still take care of your tires because you have a whole run to go. So that makes it kind of difficult, but it worked out well tonight.
Yeah, I was watching you drive down, JD. You were around 9 seconds when you finished coming out of the pits, and you drove down to almost 6 seconds. So it was definitely helping you out, but not enough time, and those tires really started to even out at the end. And once again, a great race, Aaron Hill, and excited to see you next week at Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway. Very long name, like Elliott was saying.
That's right. We hope to talk to you then.
Hope to talk to you again next week, Aaron. Great race. And here we are talking to the big winner, JD Laird. Had a huge lead at the end of that race. What was going through your mind in those last few laps, JD? Just hoping on no cautions or what?
Well, first and foremost, I have to apologize to Liam. I absolutely killed him. I had a brain fart entering turn 1 and the wind blowing through with the tailwind down the back and me completely blowing turn 3. I drifted up into him and I killed him, and netcode took over. So I apologize to him. I don't like passing people that way. I don't like racing people that way, and I don't like being raced that way. So I have to apologize to him. As far as those last few laps, I was totally expecting something to happen. I've had everything that you could probably think of happen as I've been in this situation. I think I've had maybe 4 or 5 second place finishes, so I was totally expecting something crazy to happen. With the way it was playing out, Buttafuoco, which by the way is a machine at this game for only having it for 1 day.
Oh wow,
he's nuts. Like I was watching him burn laps, and his car control is absolutely insane, and he was about to pull my pants down for the lead. I figured it was going to be me and him, and he had his issues on pit road because NASCAR heat pitting. What's that? But if it wasn't for him having his issues, me killing Liam, I felt like it was kind of in my hands at that point, the way it was playing out. But I was totally expecting something to happen. But I just had to keep going windshield, looking forward, and imagine that I actually closed one of these out.
That's insane. He's only had it for 1 day. I was in here talking in the booth about how great I thought he was doing, how he was your biggest challenge for that win. That's just insane. He's only been on the service for a day. I had another question. Now I've completely blanked on this question now from that conversation. But it was just a fantastic overall race from you, JD. You really just killed it. Oh, and now I remember the question. I was looking at your stats. Your stats are just phenomenal. Everything is top of the series, just fantastic. But if I'm not mistaken, this is your first win of the season.
It is. I threw away Charlotte. I threw away Rockingham. Threw away Pocono. Coda was Coda, and I think there was one other in there somewhere. But I chalk all that up to me not really league racing that much anymore, and me trying to get back into it. And I know my setup is not the great. My steering wheel and pedals are kind of at best, but I'm trying to get back into it. And a lot of it was rookie mistakes by me just not racing that much. So tonight, even though it was a short car count, it was good for me to actually clean one of these out, even though I cleaned somebody out. But yeah, now I got that pixelated monkey off my back, and hopefully we can close out the next 3 with me sitting at the top of the scoreboard.
And next week we go to St. Louis Worldwide Technology Raceway Gateway. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that, but I'm going to say it. I might even say it a couple more times. But definitely looking forward to next week and seeing how you perform, seeing how everyone performs next week, and seeing if we can get another strategy race. I like to definitely see the strategy in these last 2 races have definitely been full of strategy.
Gateway will be interesting. It's not a very popular racetrack among the service because it drives a little funky, but that's why it's in the playoffs. You have to be on your game to do so. That's why Elliot and everybody here at VSCRA made the schedule the way they did, is to make the playoffs entertaining. The only disappointing factor is that the car count dropped. But I do know that with Gateway being on the schedule, if we had fields, like, that would be a very, very interesting race for a playoff spot. But hopefully we can get the car count up. I know like I said, Gateway's not very it's not a fan favorite, but I know Chicago's going to be fun. Homestead's going to be fun. So anybody listening, tell your friends, tell your grandma's uncle, cousin Bob, come play with us. I love the car count. I grew up with quarter midgets racing 10 cars. I don't like doing this on 2-mile speedways. So if you want to come play, hit Elliot Henderson up. Go apply to VSCRA on the lead directory. Do anything. Bug us on social media. Anything. Like, we want the cars. Bring it.
You heard him, Cousin Bob. Come through and DM Elliot Henderson or message him on Discord and get yourself in VSCRA. We look forward to seeing you. Definitely disappointing to see the low car counts, but definitely very clean, good racing, a very tight-knit group of guys out here. Definitely good to watch still. Next. And we're about to say goodbye here. Definitely disappointed to say bye to y'all, but we will see you next week, as I've said, and I'm gonna say it one last time. Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway. It's a phenomenal racetrack. A lot of people dislike it, but I love the racetrack just because of how different it is. There's no tracks like it. But we will see you next week at the same time. Goodbye from me, and anything you'd like to say to the people, Alex, before we head out?
I'm just hoping we get as good of a race as we had this time.
Definitely some great racing out there. And we now say goodbye from Michigan International Speedway, and we hope to see you next week here on Split Second Broadcasting. And once again, June 10th, Great Lakes Racing season opener, Daytona. Hope to see you there. Good night.